Hello and welcome to Sports Spotlight, where we recap the weekend's sporting highlights. I'm joined by sports editor Nick Howson to go over the weekend's action. We'll start off with the Premier League, where Chelsea suffered their first Premier League defeat of the season, losing 2-1 to a stubborn Newcastle side. What do you make of the defeat? Is Mourinho going to be now feeling the pressure from Manchester City, just 3 points behind them?
Yeah, I mean, it was no coincidence to see Chelsea lose that unbeaten record without Nemanja Matic, who's very much been a stronghold in that midfield and arguably one of Chelsea's best performers, if not most consistent, certainly. With Diego Costa and Cesc Fabregas in attack. You certainly saw not the wheels come off so much with Chelsea, but Mourinho's reaction afterwards, he was very desperate, convinced that Chelsea were the better team throughout. It was arguably their most insipid performance of the season. Will they be worried by Manchester City? Well, yes, they got the win against Everton, but with Sergio Aguero facing what could well be a lengthy spell out, it was sort of one step forward, two steps back as far as City are concerned. Will Chelsea be worried? Well, I guess they'll be making sure that their standards don't slip. They're still the overwhelming favourites, though, as far as I'm concerned.
Move on to the cricket, where England lost again. They've fallen 3-1 behind to Sri Lanka in the 7-day international series.
Yeah.
This is just disastrous form heading into the World Cup next year, isn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, it's been consistently horrendous, really, from England. The result of the entire series is really quite trivial in terms of their preparation for the World Cup. But their performance in the matches have been pretty poor. They haven't really turned up in either of their 3 defeats. They maybe came close in the first one day, but other than that, they've really failed to perform. And I think the real problem is that a lot of England players now are playing for their places in that tournament, and their performances are being damaged by that pressure. The likes of Alex Hales has not really happened for him. He hasn't really grasped his opportunity, with Alistair Cook missing the match through suspension. We saw James Taylor come in and make a very nice 90, but again, he was essentially playing last chance to lose. Comes in, has to do something, and he's made a score. The next one day will probably be a very similar situation for him. The likes of Ben Stokes, that you can see his performance has really been damaged by this sort of intense scrutiny on everyone's place. That's how badly everyone's playing. It's a case of everyone's playing for their positions. So really difficult. England going to the next one day, really just sort of fighting, trying to get a performance, and a win would be great as well.
And finally, the snooker, where Ronnie O'Sullivan triumphed over Judd Trump in an epic final to win his 5th UK Championship title. We already know he's one of the greatest, if not the greatest, snooker player of all time, but should he be respected more as one of the greatest British sportsmen of all time?
I would think there'll be some people watching this thinking, why on earth are we talking about snooker? I guess that is probably half the debate here. Is snooker the #1 topic? Well, it rarely is, I would think, and that's probably where O'Sullivan sort of loses out in terms of the more fashionable sports, like Formula Ones and things like that. It shouldn't be forgotten that O'Sullivan, in isolation, won this tournament with a broken ankle. So, as far as achievements go, it's pretty awesome. Whether he'll ever be really considered, he's not been nominated for the Sports Personality of the Year. It certainly wasn't when he won the world title last year. And snooker players have generally fallen off the radar as far as that's concerned. So, unfortunately not, but clearly an incredibly unique and talented individual.
Well, for all our sports coverage, go to our website, ibtimes.co.uk/sport.